In today's unpredictable market, does your company future ever feel like it is at the mercy of random data and shifting economic signal? It shouldn't be. Behind the complexity of the economic life of a straightforward system that the government used to guide stability and growth, the system is known as a fiscal policy, like strategic adjustment of the government key level. First, tax. Withdraw money from the economy to cool down excess activity. And the second one is spending, which is inject function to support demand, investment, and overall economic health. Together, this level is define fiscal policy, the foundation for economic direction, business confidence, and long-term stability. To get more well-known and understand what is the fiscal policy switchboard is, I would like to have a Q&A with three of people that are expert with what is fiscal policy and switchboard. So for the first question, I would like to ask Ms. Ratana, with tax cut and increased spending putting more money into people's pocket, what does this mean for business growth and investment?
In Cambodia, a recent government measures such as debt reduction and increased public spending are having a clear positive impact on local businesses. With more disposable income, Cambodian consumers are spending more on retail, food services, education, and construction-related products. Government contracts, especially in infrastructure and public services, are also increasing demand for local suppliers, and this confident boost is encouraging Cambodian businesses to expand, recruit more workers, and invest in new technology and R&D. Overall, the country is seeing stronger revenue growth and healthier corporate financial performance. However, when tax rate rise or government spending slow down, Cambodian businesses feel the pressure. Higher taxes directly reduce after-tax profit, but fewer government contracts mean lower income for local companies, especially those in construction, logistics, and supply services. With tighter monetary policy aimed at controlling inflation, borrowing become more expensive. This forced Cambodian business to cut costs, delay expansions, and be more cautious with their cash flow. The overall effect is slower businesses activity and a focus on maintaining financial stability.
Move to our second speaker, I would like to ask Mrs. Morinin, as inflation rises and the government move to raise tax and cut spending, but how exactly does this cool down the economy?
Imagine an economy that's running too hot. Prices are rising fast, businesses are expanding too quickly, and everything feels like it's moving faster than it should. That's what we call an overheated economy, or high inflation, where demand is growing much faster than the economy can keep up. To cool things down, governments rely on what's known as a contractionary fiscal policy. This simply means the government takes deliberate steps to slow the economy, reduce spending, and bring inflation back under control. Now, one way they do this is by raising corporate taxes. When taxes go up, companies have less money available for spending, expansion, or investment. And when businesses start pulling back, total demand in the economy drops. With less demand pushing prices upwards, inflation begins to ease. Another important tool is reducing government spending. When the government cuts back on its projects, public programs, or large-scale purchases, it injects less money into the economy. This also lowers overall demand, taking some of the heat out of economic activity. A simple way to imagine it is like hitting the brakes on a car that's going too fast. You don't slam the brakes, just slow it down enough to regain control and prevent a crash. Raising corporate taxes and reducing government spending work the same way. Together, they help bring an overheated economy back to a safer, more sustainable speed, protecting long-term stability and preventing inflation from spiraling even higher.
So this is our last question. I would like to ask Mr. Poti, with profits shrinking and borrowing costs rising, how are business adjusting to tighter financial conditions?
Expansionary policy is when the government or central bank takes steps to boost economic growth, usually by increasing spending, cutting tax, and lower interest rates. In Cambodia, this policy has been especially important to support recovery after economic slowdown caused by events like COVID-19 pandemic. For example, the Cambodian government increased public spending on infrastructure projects like road, bridge, and school. This creates jobs and help businesses by increasing demand for goods and services. At the same time, the government and National Bank of Cambodia have sometimes reduced tax and maintained low interest rate to encourage households and companies to spend and invest more. The goal is to stimulate growth, reduce unemployment, and support small businesses, especially in sectors like tourism, manufacturing, and agriculture, which are vital for Cambodia's economy. However, policymakers also need to balance growth with price stability because too much spending can lead to inflation. In short, expansionary policy in Cambodia is about giving the economy a push through spending, tax relief, and easier borrowing, helping the country grow and recover from challenges.
As we conclude all the things that we have been taught, it is important to reinforce the central insist fiscal policy operates as a continued equilibrium, balancing the need to stimulate economic growth with the responsibility to manage inflation. And for today's corporation finance professional, a clear understanding of the dynamic is not optional, but it is a foundation, and it sounds like strategic decision making. So if you found this overview valuation, we encourage you to support and by liking and share us, and your engagement help advance financial literacy across our professional community. Thank you for watching.